Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we will look at some few Figma tips that most of you are probably already aware of. But for those of you who are new to Figma, this video is for you. Let's get right into it. The first tip is adding time delays and overlays to simulate interactions in your prototypes. Instantaneous interactions with prototypes may feel jarring to the user. You could wish to include realistic aspects like loading screens or a brief delay. The after delay trigger, which causes an interaction to happen after a specific time frame, is one minimal touch method you can employ to do this. Let me demonstrate. With my message icon selected and switching to prototype mode, I will link it to the contact us form and set the trigger to on tap. Then I'll also set the action to open overlay. At the overlay settings, set the overlay position to bottom center and also check the add background behind overlay to give it some depth. Good. Now let's move on to adding some animation to the interaction. Click on the drop-down menu and select Moving. Next to it, you can change the direction of the moving. With the kind of interaction we want to achieve, select the bottom to top arrow, that is the last arrow. Set the animation timer to 400 milliseconds and keep the moving action at quick from the drop-down menu. Select the Contact Us button and link it to the first progress bar. At on tap, change the action of the trigger to open overlay. At the overlay settings, set the overlay position to manual. This will enable you to manually position the components anywhere on the screen. But for this interaction, place the components on top of the Contact Us button. At animation, open the drop-down menu and select Instant to make the interaction happen instantly. Select the Progress 1 loading component and link it to Progress 2. At the interaction details, set the interaction to after delay and change the action to swap overlay. This will swap Progress 1 with Progress 2 when the action is triggered. Set the after delay timer to 600 milliseconds and also set animation to Smart Animate and set the interaction to quick at 500 milliseconds. Repeat the same process for all the progress components. Select the success component and link it to the thank you frame. At the interaction details, set interaction to after delay and change timer to 2000 milliseconds. Next, change the trigger action to open overlay. At overlay settings, set it to bottom center and set animation to instant. Select the Close button on the Contact Us form and set the interaction to on tap and the trigger action to close overlay. Select the thank you frame and link it to the home page. Set an after delay of 3000 milliseconds and set animation to instant. Now let's preview it. The next tip is using master components to speed up prototype connections. Consider developing a screen with permanent navigation, such as a navigation bar. Each menu item must be connected to a distinct frame. For example, the home button must be connected to the home frame. The lengthy task of linking can take much longer than it needs to if the menu is replicated over numerous screens, as navigation bars frequently do. But there is a better way to approach it. Let me demonstrate. Once you have your navigation bar, select and use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl-Alt-K to create a component. Create an instance of the component by copying and pasting it. Next, place the instance in your design and make other copies. Switch to prototype and link the main component menu items to your design respectively. The connection will automatically propagate to the instances you created. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Please share, like and subscribe. Bye.